Most people keep their feet on the ground. You'll spend your life 9 miles above it, strapped to a machine that kills faster than you can think. There's a cost up there nobody briefs you on. This is your life as a fighter pilot. You're 17 when a fighter splits the sky over your town, gone before the sound arrives. Everyone else flinches. You watch the empty air where it was. From then on, every road you take points up. Years of it come down to one letter. You filled the forms, passed the boards, signed the oath. It says you've been selected for pilot training. You read it twice, then call no one. You just sit with it. The sky said yes. First, they make sure your body can take it. They map your eyes, spin you in a chair until the room won't hold still. Read your heart for a flaw. Half this room won't make it past today. You hold your breath and pass. You tell almost no one where you're going. Your mother holds on a beat too long. Your father just nods like he always knew. The base is 1,000 miles from home. You drive toward it with the windows down. No going back now. Pilot training doesn't ease you in. Day one is 1,000 pages and a flight at dawn, and you're strapped into a trainer learning to think at 400 knots. Everyone here was the best in their class. Now you just try to keep up. Your own body becomes part of the test. They spin you in the centrifuge until the blood drains from your head and the world grays at the edges, and you fight gravity with your own muscles to stay awake. Some men go limp. You don't. Every flight is graded. One bad check ride, a botched recovery, and they wash you out by lunch and put you on a plane home. You watch empty seats appear at breakfast and learn not to ask. The jet doesn't care how badly you want it. Some nights, the doubt sits on your chest, doing math on everything you'd lose if you failed. Then one morning, they cut you loose, alone. No instructor, just you and the sky. The wheels leave the earth, and you know you belong up here. A year of it, and they call your name. Someone pins a pair of silver wings to your chest, lighter than a coin and heavier than anything you've carried. You're a military pilot now, not the dream of one, the thing itself. Then comes the night they tell you what you'll fly. They read the list aloud, one name and one airframe at a time, and nobody breathes. They say your name, and they say, fighters. The room erupts. You don't hear the rest. They send you to learn the fighter itself. You stand on the ramp and just look at it. A matte gray machine built for one purpose, meaner than it looked in any photo. Tomorrow, they teach you to fly it. Tonight, you can't sleep. The first time you light the afterburner, the jet doesn't accelerate, it leaps, and the horizon drops away like someone pulled the floor out of the world. Your training keeps your hands calm while every nerve screams. Nothing you've flown has ever felt this alive. You push it past the speed of sound over an empty range, and the buffeting smooths into glass. For one impossible second, there's no engine, no wind, just you outrunning your own noise. Then it's gone, and you want it again before you land. The squadron becomes a second family, people who trust each other with their lives by Tuesday. You learn the unwritten rules, the bar with 40 years of history on its walls. They hand you a call sign, too. It isn't kind. You wear it like armor. You learn to fly 3 feet off another jet at 500 miles an hour. A wingman's whole job is being where your leader needs you without looking. You stop flying like a passenger and start flying like you were born to it. One evening, you walk to your jet, helmet under your arm, and a crew chief you've never met snaps you a salute. You're not the kid who watched the sky anymore. The sky is yours now. and everyone on the ramp knows it. Then the orders come. A desert on the far side of the world. A base that's just runway and tents and heat. You pack a life into 2 boxes, keep the goodbyes short, and fly toward a war you've only seen on a screen. Most of war is waiting. You sit alert for hours beside the jet, boots on, helmet ready, a radio that might stay silent all day or change everything in a sentence. Cold coffee, dust on everything, the whole base holding its breath. Then the radio cracks and everything moves at once. You're sprinting, strapping in, engines spooling before the canopy's down. 8 minutes from a chair to 30,000 feet. And somewhere out there, a voice on the ground is calling for help. You orbit for hours in a sky so big it stops meaning anything, burning fuel in slow circles over a war. Nothing. Then a voice on the radio, tight and young, pinned down, asking if anyone's up there. You key the mic. Someone is. The first time you employ for real, there's no thrill. Just a checklist and a steady voice keeping yours steady. Coordinates, confirmation, the jet shuddering as the weapon leaves the rail. Below, a threat about to kill men stops. You fly home and say little. Days later, a soldier you'll never meet gets a message to your squadron. He's 19. He says he's alive because someone was overhead when the radio worked. You pin the printout by your bunk. On the bad days, you read it again. The deployment grinds on. You fly tired, eat standing up, lose track of what day it is back home. Your world shrinks to the jet, the brief, the orbit, the debrief. A bunk that's never dark enough. You forget you were anyone but this. One tour ends and you're on a transport home, watching the desert shrink under the wing. You did the thing they built you for, protected people who will never know your name. You should feel finished. Instead, you already know you'll go back. It's supposed to be a milk run, a night sortie over open water, a training intercept, home by midnight. You brief it half asleep. You've flown it 100 times. The sky has a way of waiting for exactly that kind of confidence. Then, 200 miles out over black ocean, something lets go. A bang in your teeth, a warning light, then a row of them. The engine winds down to silence, and the jet trades altitude for nothing. Your training takes your hands before fear can. You run the checklist aloud. Restart. Nothing. Again. Nothing. So you do the only math that matters. Altitude, distance, the black water below, a runway too far to be sure of. Every second you hold the jet level is one you might keep. You thumb the radio and say the word that turns every head in a control room. Mayday. A calm voice answers, vectors you toward a coastline you can't see yet, and stays with you. You're very alone, and not alone at all. There's a handle that ends it cleanly. Pull it, the seat throws you into the night, the jet dies alone in the water. Your hand finds it. Then the runway lights bleed up over the horizon, and you ride it down instead. You bring a dead machine down out of the dark on one shot. No engine to fix a mistake. The runway swelling faster than feels survivable. You flare on instinct, feeling for a ground you can't see. The wheels find it. They hold. You roll to a stop on the runway, and the silence is enormous. Trucks come screaming up, lights spinning. You sit a moment longer than you need, hands flat on your knees, and only now, finally safe, do they start to shake. They'll say it was the engine, nobody's fault. But you know better now. The danger was never the enemy or the war. It was the thin line you cross every time the wheels leave the ground, and how little it takes to fall off. Years go by like this. Deployments stacked like cordwood, a calendar of places you can't name, a body kept sharp for a machine that punishes weakness. The job asks for everything, and a tour at a time, you keep handing it over. There's someone who waited out 3 deployments, not the 4th. You don't blame her. You were always half in the cockpit, even at the kitchen table. It doesn't end in a fight. It ends with a door clicking shut while you're a continent away. The job collects its rent in your body. A neck that won't turn right after a decade of G-forces. Ears that ring. A flight surgeon who reads your chart and goes still. You spent yourself a gram at a time, and the bills come due. Not everyone gets the landing you got. Over the years, the squadron loses people. A name on a hangar wall, a folded flag, a formation flying over with one slot left empty. You stand at attention, watch the gap in the sky, and say nothing. One day you turn around and you're the old head. A pilot half your age flies your wing and asks the questions you once asked, certain the way you were. You give the answers your instructors gave you and feel the years fold over. You catch yourself in the canopy glass one morning, and the face looking back has gray at the edges and lines the sky put there. The kid who looked up is still in there, quieter now, harder. You're not sure when the trade got made. You add it up sometimes, late on a porch with a drink. The birthdays missed, the marriage gone, the friends who are just names now. And against all of it, the people alive tonight who'd be dead if you'd quit when it got hard. But you flew the machine that splits the sky over a town. You bent it to your hands. You answered when the ground had no one else. You came home when the math said you shouldn't. This is the life you chose, and you'd choose it again. There are other lives waiting, other machines, other oaths, other people you could have been. Subscribe, and next time we'll strap into one together.